My name is Howard Berry. I'm the father of the late Staff Sergeant Joshua Berry. My son died of wounds that were sustained during the first Fort Hood shooting. You won't find Josh listed among the killed or the wounded. He didn't exist. The Army forgot about him. As 2016 approaches and we get ready to elect our next Commander-in-Chief, I've got a lot of questions, and I've decided that I'm going to reach out to each and every candidate, irregardless of party, the folks that feel that they have what it takes to sit in the White House, and I want to ask them some questions. So these questions are for Governor Rick Perry. Mr. Perry, do you think that the Fort Hood shooting, the first one, do you think that it was handled correctly? The fact that they classified it as a random act of violence in the workplace, or later amended it to a case of violent homegrown extremism? Do you think that did justice to the men and women whose lives were forever changed that day? I surely don't. I think our country just played Scrabble with the truth and continue to do so. What are your thoughts on that, sir? I really would like to know. What are your what are your thoughts on veteran suicide? You know, uh, I'd like to know what that is because currently 23 men and women are completing suicide each and every day. And I'd like to know what you think, Mr. Perry, because, you know, um, my son joined that club uh, February of 2013. He died waiting for help that never came. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that the number 23 is too high? Would that keep you up at night? I know it does me. I also know that one is too many. One is far too many. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that, Governor. What are your thoughts on the VA? You think that the VA is a broken agency that needs to be scrapped? I mean, Congress continues to fund it every year, and I don't understand. Or do you think that at some point they're going to turn the corner and they're going to go ahead and start doing what they're supposed to do and get it right, which is help vets? What are your thoughts on that? There's an awful lot of people falling through the cracks. Everything from from appointments that they can't get to lost paperwork to it just seems like an awful lot of pivoting point. And I see a lot of men and women. I wonder how many of them are 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 ending their lives while they wait for help that they never get. Where do you think veterans need to be in the pecking order? There's a lot of folks that currently in this country that are suffering, uh, and, and and I'd like to know where you think veterans ought to be. You think they ought to be up front, or they just ought to fall where they fall? Um, I'm kind of curious because you see these folks who volunteer to defend our freedom, and I believe that they should be sitting right up front and they should get everything that they need before all others. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that, sir. I've reached out to every single candidate. I'm going to go ahead and get this ball rolling, and I'm going to hope that people go ahead and answer it. I think this is so debatable. I think that the American people would really like to know what our leaders think about. Think about those that volunteer to defend our freedoms. 1%, and they're taking care of the other 99%. We say things like support the troops, and we don't support the troops. We say things like no soldier left behind. My son was left behind. What are your thoughts on bringing back the draft? I think that you ought to do that. I think that the draft ought to be brought back and give every single American family an opportunity to lose a loved one, as I've done. Let's all have a dog in the fight, and not just count on that 1% to keep going back over and over and over and over again. You think that's fair? I don't. I don't. I think we're better people than that. I would really like to hear your thoughts on this, sir. It's very important. The American people deserve to know. It's very debatable. Please bring it up. Please bring it up. I think it's a hot button topic, and I honestly believe that veterans are gonna decide who wins the nomination and ultimately who sits in the White House. As it should be. Dead vets don't vote, but their families do. Their friends do. A lot of the battle buddies that they serve with do. And I honestly believe that we want someone who's going to be strong, who's going to stand up for vets. Please let me know what your thoughts are on this. God bless. I miss my son.